All right, here we're going to take a look at the concept of symmetry and how it relates to different parts of the coordinate plane. So starting with part A, let's take a look at uh, a relation that is symmetric with respect to the x-axis. Okay, so let me draw my axis here. So I have x here, and then my y is here. So I need whenever you have symmetry related to with respect to the x-axis, that means that everything that is above the x-axis will be a mirror image of everything that's below it. Okay. So all basically all of the y values are opposites of each other. Okay. Now let's look at symmetry with respect to the y-axis. All right. So we have our x-axis and our y-axis. So this time, this will all of the values on the right side of the y-axis will be mirror images of everything on the left side. So this time the x, like the x values will be opposites of each other. Okay? So now let's look at symmetry with respect to the origin. And so here's a couple of equations that are examples of them. You have y equal to x cubed, and y equal to 1 over x. These would produce a graph that is symmetric about the origin. So if y x here x, so in other words, it's I guess the easiest way to kind of look at it is if this is the first part of my graph, okay, and then what actually is passing right through the origin. Basically, the points on this graph, the symmetry is where it flips over both the x and then it flips over the y, or you can flip over the y then the x, but you'll end up on the other part of this graph. Here's the point at which it's going to be reflected about, which is the origin. Okay. And then finally, to have a graph that there's no symmetry about the x, the y, or the origin, that's just something that here, put this here, that if I drew, let's see, if I had a graph like this, you can see that this is not reflecting across the x, the y, or the origin. So here's an example of symmetry with respect to x axis, with respect to y axis, with respect to the origin, and then the final case where there's no symmetry with respect to any of them.